I am Gunner Butrico from Victor 28, so 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines, and I am currently the battalion gunner. I joined the Marine Corps March 24th, 2005. I was inspired to join the Marine Corps because of 9/11. I grew up in New Jersey, and I was a sophomore in high school when the Twin Towers were attacked, and I could see the smoke from where I lived and grew up, and throughout history, our grandparents and our relatives and our countrymen before that joined the military to fight the wars that our country sent them to, and I thought it was our time, my time, to join the military, join the Marine Corps, and do my duty as an American citizen. I'm in 0306, which is an infantry weapons officer, and I'm the battalion gunner for Victor 28, so 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines. When I joined, I did not plan on making the military career. I thought I was going to do 4 years, do my duty as an infantryman, and then figure it out, right? Go to college, I don't know. I don't know what I was going to do, but I really fell in love with the Marine Corps and the infantry. The people is what made me fall in love with the Marine Corps, working with great dudes and women from all across America and doing the thing, doing the job across the warfighting functions, and just watching it come together. Even at such a young age, even though I didn't know, or a young infantry guy, I didn't know what I was looking at until I got more senior in rank. But I watched all these things come together, and I was like, whoa, this is pretty awesome. And I think leading Marines in combat is one of the most rewarding things you could do, and bringing them home. So that's what made me fall in love. I realized I wanted to become a gunner when I first got to Iraq on my first deployment at Camp Fallujah. The gunner got in front of the whole battalion once we got there, and it was this mythical creature of a man who was wearing one black bomb and one subdued rank on his other collar, and I'm like, who is this guy? And everyone's like sucked in listening to him, and just he was passing such good mentorship and knowledge. And really making us comfortable when we were about to go, get in the fight and relieve 2-2 at the time. And I was like, I want to be that guy. I want to do what he does, and I want to captivate an audience like this. Since I realized I wanted to be a gunner, I did not plan, shape my career path to be a gunner. I went off the beaten path of the normal 0369s that become gunners. As I went after my second enlistment, I went into MARSOC, took selection for MARSOC, and went to ITC and became a CSO, vice the other 0369s who usually just stay in the infantry community. So really what I was building my career to be was a leader, mentor, advisor to a commander, which a gunner is. And I was really passionate about weapons employment, which really obviously is the bread and butter of a gunner. So it really just happened to set me up for that career path. Mental health awareness is extremely important to me, especially because of my personal experience of burying issues that I've had since I was a PFC. After my first deployment, I'll say Lance Corporal, after my first deployment. And just piling on more issues and more issues on top of that, not asking for help, not thinking I had a issue, even though I was angry, I isolated myself, and all I did was work, right? The Marine Corps and work was my happy place, and I felt safe, vice not anywhere else. So really that came, in my personal experience, came to a point in my life where I almost was not here, and I had to make a phone call to go away, to get help, in order to continue living life. So the podcast is to raise awareness for that, as I think many of us across the board, across DoD, deal with this issue, and squeaky wheel gets the grease. So if you make people aware, they might not be afraid to, say I need help. As a gunner, I do not think I could raise awareness better than a lower enlisted Marine or an officer. I would say I'm just a gunner. I'm just a Marine. I'm just an O3. And I think anybody could raise awareness, from a private to, a four-star general, right? Any of us, because it's extremely, extremely important. And I'll add that overall 22 suicides a day for veterans. Let's add on how many people in the military, that number is not included, is an issue. Life is more important and living is more important. The advice I have for Marines who are too nervous to take that first step to ask for help is don't get caught up in the stigma. I think there's a huge stigma and not a lot of education on mental health. All right. Either being, stigma being you're going to lose your clearance, you're going to lose your job, you're not going to be able to work, all the things, right? Don't get caught up in the stigma. And it takes a lot to ask for help. It took me, 19 years to ask for help. And it was the hardest decision of my life because I was afraid of all the stigmas. But I think if you look at your future and see that life is worth it, and if you love the Marine Corps and you want to continue your career, burying is not the answer, right? You need to have your head right because that's what the Marine Corps needs, right? We need thinkers and people with the ability to operate in austere environments, away from the command and control node, and make decisions. And you're not going to do that if your mind's messed up. So I think raising your hand and be like, hey, I need help, and going to get the help, and then after you get the help, applying the techniques that they give you and continuing that, and then helping others early in your career, not late. You just can't be afraid. You gotta raise your hand just like you raised it to fight for the country. So when I asked for help, the resources I used, for me personally, I was lucky, right? Because I was wounded in combat. So I had a co-coalition team, especially from the special operations community. But the first person I called was my medical officer. I called him and I was like, hey, doc, I need help. And he's like, what's going on? I'm like, I need to go away to inpatient care right now or things are gonna get crazy. So that was my first step. Now I know a lot of people don't have their medical officer on speed dial, right? But there's the VA hotline number, and you could talk to someone immediately. And there's so many resources across the board. I mean, there's the mental health behavioral clinics on Camp Lejeune. Every military base, there's, or just call a friend, and they're going to call somebody to help you. I would say my addition is do not be afraid to ask for help. And it doesn't mean you're broken, right? Because you have something going on in your head. Trauma's trauma, and you need to get it fixed. And I think that's the biggest thing. And the Marine Corps is doing a really good job at it. We just can't be afraid to, hide it or sweep it under the rug. The science is there, the education is there, and we need to use it. And the supporting agencies outside of the Marine Corps, across DoD, across the civilian world, are there for us to tap into, and we need to do that.